What's up, everyone? Autismo Dynamite back for episode 2. Thank you for the amounts of views I got on my last video. I was not really expecting that much, but I mean it's only 30 views or whatever. But I mean, still, thank you. Now before we get into what I want to talk about today, wanted to quickly talk about. I just want to quickly give a big congratulations to Dalton Smith for his victory over Cerebral Martinez on last weekend. Honestly, I didn't really feel like the fight should have happened considering the drug ban, and also considering that people have died, from fighting Martinez, but nevertheless, Smith took it. He took the risk, and he is impressive that he came out on top, and even managed to. I was actually really impressed with actually managed to stand toe to toe with like such a dangerous puncher like Martinez. But yeah, I'm glad he's champion. Really happy for him, and I hope one day we could potentially get a fight with him and Adam Azim. But anyway, so congratulations, mate. And now I'll on to today's topic, which I know has been like talked about what is going to be happening for a long time, and I know, but thing was, since it wasn't confirmed on BoxRec, I didn't exactly know if it was going to happen or if it was just more rumors and something else was going to happen. But no, it's actually confirmed. We're getting Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios on the 21st of February. Same night as Lee Wood's rematch, Lee Wood and Josh Warrington's rematch. So I guess that'll be a nice little double combo. One in UK, one in the US. But and honestly, and before I just give my thoughts on it, I do just want to quickly preference that I will definitely be watching that fight and getting up to watch it. I am, despite my thoughts on it, I am actually really looking forward to the fight, and to an extent, and I say to an extent, and when I say to an extent, I mean like somewhat of an extent. I am kind of hoping Ryan wins, because I would actually really like to see a rematch between him and Devin Haney, especially if it would be a unification fight. That would actually be really cool. But honestly, when I first heard that this fight was potentially going to happen, I just didn't really feel like I just didn't really understand why we're doing this, because because you go back to April of last year. No, not last year. 2024. When he fights Devin Haney, you go back then, and what has he done from that point up until now? Let's think. He missed weight by an insulting 3 pounds, which basically prevented him from becoming world champion against Devin Haney at 140, even if he did win, which obviously he originally did. He then popped for drugs, which made what was originally probably the best win of his whole career invalid, and caused him to almost get banned. But obviously the WB, actually it probably wasn't the WBC. I mean, I feel like he probably should have got a bit of a suspension, but I mean, he got over a year. But so then he was hasn't been in the ring for over a year. He then puts on an absolute shite performance against Rolly Romero, where I know he tends to, like, to an extent, start slow with his jab and then try and finds a point to land the left hook. But honestly, in this fight, you had the first round, which was perfectly fine to like use your jab, find reads, whatever. But as soon as Rolly knocks him down, he just did not know what he just didn't really know what to do. Like he kind of just. I think maybe there is a chance that 147 may potentially not, and I will elaborate more on this later when I talk about the fight itself. But I think Rowley, when he felt Rowley's he landed plenty of jabs in like the first round against Rowley, but none of them seemed to affect him the way that like they would on some fighters he fought at the lighter weight classes, which. And then obviously you then get to the knockdown, and he just couldn't pull the trigger. Like his left hook was completely neutralized because Ryan was just terrified of getting hit back. Like pretty much all he did that fight was just jab, which, and like I said, Rowley just wasn't affected by it. So when you look at all that, I just don't really understand how he's got here. Like, because especially considering as far as I remembered, he wasn't even in the top 15 WBC. So technically, he wasn't even eligible to fight for. But obviously, he's Ryan Garcia. He's gonna sell the crap out of this fight. So obviously, Maurizio Salami or Weeby Crooks or whoever are gonna just grant this fight a pass, especially considering he let a 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao get back in the ring despite being away from the ring for 4 years. But yeah, and especially considering if he had won that fight, if he won the Rowley fight, he would have been elevated to WBA champion, obviously, because Boots Ennis went up and obviously he vacated his belt. So again, that's 2 chances he had to become world champion, and he fucked up both of them in more ways. One of them in more ways than one. But anyway, that's kind of why I don't think this fight should be happening. But nevertheless, it is happening. So, what are my thoughts on this fight? Well, like I mentioned earlier, obviously Ryan's jab didn't really affect Rowley that much. I mean, obviously it did act as a bit of a wall for the early rounds, but I think as Rowley got more of a feel for his power, and I think, especially with the knockdown, I think when he eventually just got the confidence to realise that Ryan's he's not really firing back. He might as well just let his hands go and absolute kamikaze him. So, so being real, I don't exactly know how his power is going to translate to 147, because being real, considering he didn't really let his hands go, I don't exactly, that wasn't really a good test to see how his power translates. But I think I'd say I don't know. I think I think one advantage he does. I think he certainly does have the ability to beat Barrios. I mean he does, like we all know, he does have a beautiful left hook. Like it is beautiful. Like obviously, I know he still popped the drug, but he still managed to knock down Devin Haney 3 times with that same punch. Although I will say I do think he might use that left hook maybe a bit too much, because I think, again, when he fought Gervonta Davis, like he knew exactly what Ryan was going to do to try and beat him, and he managed to utilize Garcia's plan to perfection, where he simply just anticipated the left hook and then just bang, left night, good night. I think it's left, right, good night, but fuck it. But I will say I do think Barrios, obviously he did also lose the tank, but I'll give him credit. Even though, despite what the judges may have you believe. I actually thought Barrios was actually actually compared to most Davis opponents. I actually thought he was doing pretty well in that fight up until getting. Obviously, he got TKO'd, so like the scorecards are irrelevant. But I thought for the first 4 rounds of that fight, I had him winning every. I thought he won like nigh on every round of the first 4 rounds, and I thought he even won a few rounds after that. I mean, I still had Tank winning, but I thought he was holding his own. But I will say my main caveat with Barrios, right, is there's not really anything about Barrios that would make that really stands out as like a key weapon. I think if there's anything you could say would be a key weapon for him or a big advantage, I would say would probably be his jab, considering like he is a pretty big guy for 147 and even 140. Like he's 6 foot. Obviously he has a 71-inch reach, so like below average for a 6 foot man, but he still has longer arms than most people in those divisions, so I guess all balances out. He, despite having little T-Rex arms, he still knows how to keep distance. Although, I guess one thing that will be said, and I think I haven't seen the odds. I probably should have checked the odds before recording this, but I do when I do see the odds, I think I might predict Garcia to be the favourite, simply just based off of the fact that he did struggle with 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao and arguably lost against him. Don't get me wrong, I think calling it a draw is perfectly fine. Like, it was a close fight, but like if you're gonna be struggling with like the hand speed and power of like a 46-year-old man, then I don't really know what you're gonna be able to do about the hand speed of a 27-year-old man. Who's arguably in his prime. Although I'd say his best days will probably I'd probably say before the Tank fight, or you could probably say now that Devin Haney fight, but he fell for drugs, so it's kind of hard to tell whether or not that was his prime. But honestly, I think being real, Barrios' only chance of winning this fight would most likely be to just use that jab to try and gain Ryan's respect. Try and get Ryan to respect his power to then nuke, because obviously, like we've seen even with the Tank fight, like when he feels the power, when he is scared, he's terrified to throw back. Like he's like we can criticize him for maybe needing to be more aggressive in like the Tank fight and the Rody fight, but I think those two fights together show that when he feels power, when he knows he's up against a heavy hitter, like he just doesn't know what to do. He just can't let the hands go. He's just terrified of getting hit. Like when he contrasts with the Haney fight, and again, I'm aware he fell for drugs, but you look at the Haney fight, and Haney did land a lot of power punches on him, but the difference between that and the Rody fight and the Tank fight was when Haney landed his power punches on Ryan, didn't really seem to faze him. So, which I guess meant that he wasn't really afraid to let the hands go, and he wasn't really afraid to take 10 of his power punches simply just to give one of his power punches. And I guess he kind of proves his point when he managed to knock him down 3 times. So I guess, yeah, I'd say with Barrios, I'd say his main key to victory would be just utilizing a good power jab to keep Ryan, at least like gain his respect in order to neutralize his offense. Ryan, honestly, I think his best weapon would be simply just to neutralize Barrios' jab, because being real, beyond his jab, I don't really think that there's really any other, there's not really anything else stand out about Barrios, and also with him being 6 foot, we could maybe even see a left hook to the liver, like Garcia did to Luke Campbell, which obviously at 6 foot there's going to be more body, there's going to be more of a target for Garcia to just like whip it in. So who do I think is going to win the fight? Honestly, I honestly think Garcia is going to win this fight. I don't like that I don't like him as a person, but I do but I do think on his best day, he does show that he is a talented boxer and he has a lot of potential. So I think if he makes weight and if he shows up on his best at his best, I think Garcia at his best will beat Mario Barrios. Unless he gets terrified again of his power. If he gets scared, I think Barrios will most likely outpoint him. I don't think Garcia is going to risk going for the if he feels his power. I don't think he's going to risk anything. I think he'll be scared, just throwing out weak max range jabs, which won't really do much. And I think Barrios will probably pick him apart. I think if Barrios can show up with a lot of power, I think he can easily pick him apart. But anyway, that's just me. I'll probably do a much more in-depth analysis when the fight actually comes up, because I don't really feel like a lot of my thoughts were clear. But yeah, all I'll say is I do think that if Garcia wins, I would really like to see him fight or rematch Devin Haney, because obviously like that fight was originally their fight was supposed to happen. Originally the Times Square card was supposed to set up a rematch between them, but obviously he lost to Rowley, so instead Haney went on to fight Brian Norman Jr. To become WBO champion. But I would like to see Garcia maybe if Garcia can beat Barrios and become WBC champion, I would like to see those two clash again to truly settle the score. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. So I'm sorry if I rambled on a lot. I think maybe in future I should probably just get a script for this. Like this is all just coming off the cusp. This is all just coming out of my rambling mouthpiece or whatever. And I don't really feel like it's really. I mean, it worked well for the first video, but I feel like going forward I might need to actually make some notes about what I'm gonna say. So yeah, I'm sorry if I rambled on a bit too much, but I hope you still enjoyed the video. Please consider subscribing. This is only like the second video of my channel, so if you want to hear more about my thoughts on boxing and whatnot, be sure to subscribe and like the video to get it going around. And lovely, bye.